Hi, I'm Zoe Hinton, and I'm here with Lizzie.
Hi.
It's been a while.
It has been a while. Well, I've been in Texas,
Yeah.
so just we went to Saberville in Texas. That was pretty cool. I'll talk about that later, maybe, but just
Okay.
saying, that was really cool.
And we also have a guest today. I'll let him introduce himself.
What's going on? I'm Corey. Yeah, from Now This Is Podcasting, but you can just call me guest because that's what I'm called on that show.
Oh.
So,
Yeah, they're mean to you.
yeah, this is a breath of fresh air for sure. Yep.
It's okay. My dad's trying to protect you. It's okay. Got you.
That
Got
is
you.
true. That is true. Yeah, when he's not in the studio, it's 10 times harder to deal with.
I bet.
Yeah, but I did, like I told you guys before I came on, I listened to Steele's episode with you guys, and his lack of Star Wars Rebels knowledge will be rectified today.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
You're better, Steel. Steel 2.0.
Exactly.
All right, so while we were on our hiatus because Lizzie was in Texas, um, there was a lot of news because San Diego Comic-Con happened, and like a lot of news. So, I think though the biggest one, well,
Can we save that one for last?
save it for last. Okay, we can save it for last.
Yes.
All right, well, this should we also do the second one I have on the notes for last too because it's related, or just say it now? What?
Just save the big one for last.
All right, so we'll talk
See
about
what happens.
this next. So for the 10th anniversary of Clone Wars, which I don't like that Clone Wars is 10 years old. If I remember something coming out, it shouldn't be allowed to turn 10. But
We're getting old, Zoe.
But for the anniversary, Her Universe released a lot of Clone Wars clothing. So there's an Ahsoka dress and scarf, an Anakin jacket, hoodie thingy, a Rex jacket, an Obi-Wan hoodie thing. I don't even know what that is. It's like a poncho.
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
A purple like Padme jacket, lots of jackets, and a Maul jacket. And it all looks really awesome. I want the Ahsoka dress, but I think I'm gonna wait for it to go on sale because it's a little expensive.
It is expensive. Yeah, I went to the Her Universe booth at Comic-Con. I got the Rex jacket. It's pretty sick, but it was very expensive.
Yeah, I mean, Her Universe stuff usually goes on sale eventually, so I think I'm gonna wait for that. I can wait. I don't wear dresses that often. I can wait for an Ahsoka dress.
Yeah, it is pretty cool looking.
Yeah, it looks awesome. It's just pricey, but I'm not gonna miss it because I missed the Ahsoka cosplay hoodie thing. So
Yeah,
I'm not gonna miss this dress.
that one was pretty cool.
Yeah, so lots of Clone Wars clothing if you want to buy it. It's all a little pricey, but very awesome.
Yeah.
And then, so, Lizzie, what do you think of the Clone Wars clothes?
Very, very expensive. I like the Anakin one. The Anakin one looks really cool. I didn't really see much of it. I think my mom scrolled around on it, and I can't remember which one my dad wants. He wants one. I just have to wait for a sale
Yeah.
because I has no monies.
The Maul jacket looks really cool. I don't really wear, like, dark, like, black jackets and stuff, but the Maul jacket looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I also like the Padme jacket, but I don't really wear jackets like that, so I'm not gonna get it, especially because it's so expensive.
Mhm.
So yeah, her universe clothes.
Yeah,
And
the
there's
Clone
some.
Wars shirts are pretty sweet too. I
Yeah,
don't know if you
there's.
guys saw those.
I saw the T-shirts. There's like one with like a basic, like design like of the posters from. When it was still on, and there's
Yeah.
the Rex or not Rex, Plo. I don't know why I said Rex.
Clothes
Plo.
Bros.
Yeah, Plo's Bros.
Mhm.
And I feel like there's more, but I'm forgetting. I don't know.
I think there was like a Bounty Hunters one, which
Right.
had yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, lots of new Clone Wars stuff. Well, I guess I'll just save that for the end, according to Lizzie. I was gonna say something, but I'll wait. And then there's a Padme novel announced,
Mhm.
which is awesome because I love Padme. I know Lizzie doesn't like her.
Just let's not get into that. Keep going.
Okay. It's called Queen's Shadow. It's by E.K. Johnston, who wrote the Ahsoka book, which maybe it's because I love Ahsoka, but that's my favorite of the new Star Wars books. And it'll be released March 5th, 2019. And the synopsis is, or Lizzie, you like to read these. Do you want to read it?
Me?
Yeah, you like to read.
No,
you
you
always
do
like
it.
to read. I want to.
Because it'll be funny when hearing your voice since it's all choppy.
Oh, okay. When Padme de Berry, Queen Amidala of Naboo, steps down from her position, she is asked by the newly elected queen to become Naboo's representative in the Galactic Senate. Padme is unsure about taking on the new role, but cannot turn down the request to serve her people. Together with her most loyal handmaidens, Padme must figure out how to navigate the treacherous waters of politics and forge a new identity beyond the Queen's shadow.
Wow.
So, I guess we have to. Alright, I sound on the Skype call, I apparently sound choppy to Lizzie and Corey, but when we checked the recording, it was fine, so.
Yeah.
That's why they think it's humorous.
Yeah, that'll be, I think, probably the only time I'll be able to hear the Padme book description like that. So definitely a new experience.
I think my favorite part is when Zoe sighs, but it sighs like twice and after another.
Right.
Okay.
We love you, Zoe.
Uh-huh. So yeah, there's a Padme book, which I think is cool because she isn't, even with all of the other new stuff that's coming from the prequels, there hasn't up till now been a lot of stuff about Padme.
Right.
And by not a lot, I mean none at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's cool because she was in Thrawn Alliances, which I still have yet to read, but she's in it, and there's a poster of her. And now she's getting her own book, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It is very cool because I wonder. Oh, actually, no. We'll save that for last. My bad.
How dare you?
So yeah, Padme novel.
Pretty cool.
I think we'll probably see the handmaids, learn more about them, which would also I think be awesome.
Yeah, they're not really heavily explored anywhere else, so that would be very cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I'm trying to think. I don't think I have anything else to say about Padme, the Padme novel.
There's a Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan book coming out, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right.
There was it. See, my dad is saying that the title of that book isn't very good.
Yeah.
Isn't very creative.
Yeah.
I think it's just Master and Apprentice.
Yep, that's it.
Yep.
I think Master and Apprentice would be a cool thing for a collection of short stories, kind of like oh shoot, what's it called? From a certain point of view, but about different sets of Master and Apprentices. You'll get a story about Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, and then Anakin and Obi-Wan, and then Anakin and Ahsoka. Like, it goes down the lineage, but then there's also, like, you know, like, Kanan and Ezra and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But, you know, or they could use it just for one story. You know, what do I know?
But they didn't.
But they didn't.
Yeah.
When we were at the panel at Comic-Con for the book stuff, anytime a prequel novel was talked about, people flipped out in that panel room. So it is cool to see the prequels getting some love. It's been a good like 5 years since we've really seen a lot of love for it. So it's cool that that's coming back.
I think since Clone Wars, like since Clone Wars Season 6, I think that's the last time we got really like prequel
Yeah.
stuff. And I don't know, I think it's maybe because of the 20th anniversary of Phantom Menace that's coming up.
Yeah.
So they're gonna,
Mm-hmm.
you know, which
Yeah, exactly.
it's cool. Because I think the prequels, whether or not you like the movies, I think, to me at least, the prequels are undoubtedly a really cool area of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Clone Wars, obviously, but even like before that.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's very unique, and it definitely doesn't get the credit it deserves a lot of the times.
And now that it kind of is, I'm scared for the people that really hate prequels.
Oh, it's just such a weird place in the fandom with everything right now that it's like I don't even know if that would faze me at this point, just because of what's going on right now.
The next petition will be to make money to remake the prequels.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's already out there.
I'm sure it happened. It might not have gotten as widespread because the internet wasn't as big, but I'm sure it happened.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, why?
Me too, Lizzie. I mean, people like to criticize, like, acting and, you know, the writing or whatever, but, like, the prequels, if you, like, step back, it's a really awesome story and a really awesome era. And I'm not saying, like, I'm not saying the writing or acting was bad in the prequels. I'm just saying, like, if you step back, I don't think you can deny how incredible, like, the overall story of what happened
Right.
was.
No, totally. Yeah, like as a kid when I watched those movies, I never questioned them or anything until like a few years later when I discovered the internet, and then I started seeing people talking about those movies in a really negative way, and I didn't understand it, why it was like that. It's like sometimes when people complain about the acting, sometimes I can understand certain things, but it's like at the end of the day, Star Wars actors, I mean, throughout all the films, like there's a lot of cheesy dialogue, and that's fine. That's what it calls for. So it's weird to me when people like nitpick that in the prequels when it's everywhere.
Yeah, I think the number one thing was like that I'm hearing that people hated was the way that Anakin was acting.
Right.
Like he was acting like a crybaby, and the actor was being horrible at acting. I was like, wait, but he's kind of supposed to be this crybaby. So
Exactly.
if the actor is really good at being a crybaby, then like he's doing his job.
Exactly. It's so weird because I like when you hear older fans or what any fan talking about the prequels and the way they envisioned Anakin is like, I mean, in the Clone Wars, obviously, like for those people who don't like him in the films, I mean, if you don't like him in the Clone Wars, I just don't understand what they want. But it's yeah, I don't know. I agree. I think he did his job perfectly. He did what George asked him to do.
Yeah. My
Go ahead.
Okay. My theory, I guess, is that so many people expected because they saw Darth Vader, like older fans who grew up with originals, they saw Darth Vader and expected Anakin to just be Darth Vader, but a person, like, not in the suit and doing good like, not doing good things, but still the same, like, power and, like, dramatic I don't like, kind of, you know what I mean?
Oh,
they
yeah.
just expected
Yeah.
light side Vader when, you know, George Lucas actually made him, like, a character.
Right. Well, and it's funny too because like especially in Clone Wars though you really see everything I hear people complain about Anakin in the prequels is at least for those people should be redeemable in Clone Wars just because he's such a um there's like undoubtedly a change between the two when he's more commanding. But I've always seen it like in episode 2 Anakin starts out as this guy who is broken because of the war and Padme and his mom and everything that happens, and then in Clone Wars he pulls it together, he becomes a
Can you shut the
commander,
door? 'Cause I
and then by the
don't
time
wanna
Revenge of the
speak
Sith rolls around he goes back to kind of being depressed because
in.
the war's taken so much out of him. So it's like it makes total sense why he acts like he does in the films, especially when you put Clone Wars in the middle of it.
Right, but they were all expecting a really cool character who's just, you know, super, like he was super strong, but you know,
Yeah.
stronger and just it's just I cannot words.
We know what you mean, Lizzie. We got you.
Cool.
I don't know. It's like I'm not gonna force someone to like the prequels, but they, you know, they tell a good story. I think, and I like the movies as movies too. It's just I don't know. They just
And it's canon.
and it's well, it's just I don't even mind people necessarily that just didn't like the prequels. I just don't like the people who like if you mention like, oh, I like Star Wars, and they're like, oh, well, do you like the prequels? And then you say yeah, and then they get all up in you know, they get all in your case. And you're like, just calm down.
Exactly. And it's so weird because like when Force Awakens came out, like nobody was talking like that with the sequels, but now that Last Jedi is out, it's so weird because even like the apartment I live in, every time I go talk to like our leasing agent or whatever, he's always like, yeah, The Last Jedi sucked. I'm like, yeah, nobody cares.
Well, what I don't get is these people like when you want to talk about Star Wars with people like that, they just want to talk about the parts they don't like. Because if someone's like, oh, I like The Last Jedi, it's like, okay, well, do you like Rogue One? We'll talk about that. Do you like Empire? We'll talk about that. You don't, like, why talk about the stuff you don't like?
Exactly. That's the weird thing is every time I talk to people, like, really outside of the community about Star Wars, it's usually always about the stuff they don't like. And I just kind of sit there like, yeah, thinking the same thing, like, why don't we talk about the parts you do like? And if you don't like one thing, you don't have to spend 25 minutes talking about it.
Like, I'm not the hugest fan of some of the parts of the extended universe, so my remedy to that is to just not talk about that, because what's the point? It's not like me talking about it is just going to change it. So
exactly.
I'm just going to talk about the stuff I do like, which is the canon stuff.
Yeah.
Or Lizzie. Lizzie doesn't like Padme, so instead she talks about other characters.
No.
I gotta say I am interested dude, I have after the show if you guys want, but I am interested to hear why you don't like Padme because I haven't really heard that one a lot. It's a unique perspective on character.
Lizzie's
I have very confused thoughts. Okay.
Lizzie gets hung up on her being like she goes to stop Anakin in Revenge of the Sith when she's pregnant, and Lizzie's worried about the babies.
Well, yeah, she thinks she can change the sky, but honestly, she should have ran away.
Yeah. I'll like. Yeah, I'll be honest. I mean, when I think of the character of Padme, like. I can see your point for sure on some things with her, but you know, it's what it is.
I think honestly,
I like the part Zoe told me once that there was a thing where she was going to have a knife, which I thought was pretty cool. I was like, okay, do it.
Oh, she was gonna.
Yeah, there's in original drafts and in some of the concept art, she was gonna. Well, actually, Lizzie, I don't know why you're so thrilled about that because she had the baby strapped to her back, and she had a knife.
Oh, she still had a knife.
And she was gonna go and try to kill Anakin.
Oh, wait. The babies were already born at this point?
Yeah, the babies were born, and she strapped them to her back and took them on a murder field trip.
Whoa.
Which, yeah, I guess she still has the babies, but...
I will say, I think there's a chance Padme could have gotten through to Anakin if Obi-Wan hadn't decided to stow away. I'm not saying it definitely would have happened, but there's a chance.
Yeah, there was a chance. Give her that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Although...
I feel like other than that, she's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the only thing.
Yeah, I like her a lot in Clone Wars.
Also the parts where Anakin and Padme are trying to kiss when they're in danger, and they could be doing something else instead of making out somewhere. Could be helping.
That is true. Yep.
Just throwing that out there.
That's Anakin's fault too, though. It's not just her.
Which I'm also happy in the Disney, The Forces of Destiny, that Ahsoka went with them.
Oh, yeah.
Interrupting Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm not a horrible person to argue with, I swear.
No, there's a difference between, like you were saying, like not liking something, and then you got the people on like Twitter and all that or wherever who just like constantly talk about it, like with The Last Jedi and the prequels and yeah.
Yeah, there's like entire Twitter accounts just dedicated to hating The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Like if you want to talk about Star Wars, maybe make a Twitter account to talk about the originals. Why just I don't understand.
Well, it's also like all the attention they're getting from this, so that doesn't help because then they're just doing it more and more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, there's like I don't know, you can criticize The Last Jedi because it's not no movie is perfect and every movie I think should be criticized. But like there's no point in just it's been what, like 8 months? Stop harping on it. It's done.
Like, get a life.
Yeah.
That's the best way to sum it up. Yeah. It's pretty interesting.
We had a whole episode on this when Zoe was over here, and yeah, we podcasted just all about this.
Oh yeah, I was listening to that. Yeah.
And that whole giant thing that they made. Why?
It's, like I think like you were saying, it's attention. People want attention, and that's unfortunately Star Wars is like an easy target in the sense that like they try to pretend like they're fans, but they're not. And like some people do have, like I know a couple people who don't like the movie but don't constantly talk about not liking it.
Yeah.
Because that would drive me crazy. I couldn't sit there for 20 minutes hearing about, and like that was like I was saying with my with the leasing agent here at the apartment, like constantly every single time I go into the office, the first thing I hear from him is, "Yeah, The Last Jedi sucked." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. Just give me my keys and let me go."
Every time I go to school, I have to punch people because because Zoe made me for Christmas a Rose Tico necklace.
Oh, that's cool.
And I wear it every day. And I go to school. The first thing I hear, Rose sucks. And I go over and punch him.
Yes.
And
keep that up.
right to class. And then sometimes they don't even have a good reason. They're just like, well, she didn't do anything. I'm like, she saved Finn. Well, Finn didn't need to be saved. I'm like, yes, he did.
Oh yeah, he
Yes,
did.
he did.
Exactly.
So,
That's
yeah. Oh, well.
yeah. There's some bizarre fans out there, but good for you. Take them on. That's how you do it.
See, people at school, there are people who talk about how much The Last Jedi sucks and it's annoying, but there's also people at my school who love The Last Jedi and they'll talk
Yeah.
about it to me. And there's actually this one person I know, he likes the prequels better than the originals, which you don't get often. So
Right.
it's fun to talk about that with him. Cuz,
Yeah, that's awesome. Like when I was in school, this is when like Clone Wars was out. So that was kind of the not really like I mean it wasn't that not a lot of people talked about it just because it was a show rather than like movies.
Mhm.
But the people who did like were always talking so highly of it and all that stuff. So I'm not that sucks that like you got people there that talk crap and that sucks. But at
Like,
least
actually I get people talking crap about Rebels.
yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
I
That
have a friend in school
mhm.
who just like whenever I'm like, hey, did you see that new Rebels? And sometimes he's like, oh yeah, it was great. Or I think one time I asked him when we first got like that Resistance picture,
Oh yeah.
the new show that's um, sorry, completely forgot. Okay, I asked him about it. And I was like, oh, what do you think? And he's like, I think it sucks. I was like, we just got a picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, the animation sucks. I'm like, it's just a picture. Like, what?
Right. Yeah, that's what trips me out the most. Like even with like episode 9, people will hear episode 9 news and they'll be like, "Oh, this movie's gonna suck." I'm like, "What?" But you haven't seen anything from it at
Right?
all. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like even they were just like, oh, J.J. Abrams is gonna be directing episode 9. People are like, oh, it's gonna suck. And it's like, he directed Force Awakens. That didn't cause a huge. I mean, it caused a little bit of a controversy, but people generally like that
Yeah.
movie. Calm
Yeah,
down.
it's a pretty good movie.
Or even before they announced stuff, like even like just after episode 8 came out, they're like, 9's gonna suck. It's like, because like even if you don't like Ryan Johnson's writing or directing, he has nothing to do with 9. So how is 8 gonna be reflect? I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, there's the good side of Star Wars, and then there's like the really bad. Well, not Star Wars. Like, it's
The
fans.
yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
fandoms, yeah.
Like, I went to school one time. I think it was May the 4th, in my Sabine armor, like half Sabine armor, and there was a kid that was like, "Oh my God, thank you for existing." Blah blah. I'm like, "Oh my goodness, people are amazing," and then there are people who are like, "Oh, this person sucks. Star Wars sucks."
Aww.
Like, why?
My experience generally is that like the Rebels and Clone Wars, like the Star Wars animation fandom, is generally like really chill. Like the most argument you'll get is over just like interpretations of is Kanan space big brother or space dad. Like that's it. No one cares about like the big stuff as much. But then you go into like the main movie fandom and it's like there's good parts of it, but there's also like sometimes kind of just feels like a flaming garbage can rolling down the highway at 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, I'm curious to know, like, at least with my school experience with Star Wars, like when Clone Wars was out and all that, since the films weren't mainstream at the time, like Star Wars generally, oddly enough, wasn't really accepted with people at my school. Like people tend to look down on people who enjoyed that kind of stuff when I was in school. So, like, what is it like for you guys? Because obviously the movies are so mainstream now that, like, anybody can go see them and enjoy them and not judge. Or, I mean, I'm sure you guys still have your fair amount of people that, don't understand it. But how is it like now?
For me, well, like, because me and Lizzie were in elementary school when Clone Wars was airing. So
Okay.
generally, my people didn't talk about it as much because, like you said, the movie it wasn't movies; it was just the show.
Yeah.
But like,
Right.
it was in elementary school, so everyone just kind of did their own thing anyway. No one cared. So it was like you talk about Star Wars sometimes, and you're like, "Oh, Star Wars lunchbox, cool," but that was it. And then middle school, it was like Clone Wars was over, or it was ending, I guess, in middle school, and then like there wasn't any movies, and I was still the only person that was like talking about Star Wars, and everyone thought I was weird.
Right.
And then there's also for me, there's like a little bit of a like you're a girl and you're 13 and you still like Star Wars. It's like, yeah, shut up.
Yeah.
But then high school, Force Awakens came out my freshman year. And everyone's pretty cool about it now. The most annoying things I get are people that hate Rebels or people that present me are like, hey, did you hear the theory that the Rogue One crew is going to be the Knights of Ren? I'm like, yeah, I did. Shut up. Yeah, I'm like the Star Wars person at my school. Everyone knows if you want to talk Star Wars, you come to me.
That's awesome.
So, it's pretty cool now. I mean, there's definitely some people that are, they think it's kind of weird, but
Yeah.
generally it's like if they think it's weird, they'll just ignore it and keep going, and then the people that do think it's cool will talk about it.
That's cool though. You're like the Star Wars expert there then.
Yeah.
Nice.
In my elementary school, I guess, just no one paid attention to Star Wars at all,
Mhm.
so I couldn't really say anything.
Yeah.
But I was in Saber Guild when I was 10, so and then getting my own costume, and we got our own like Saber Guild cards, so I would like pass them around to my friends, and some kids, of course, would say, "Oh no, Star Wars is for boys only." And I'd ask, I'm like, "Oh, so you've seen Star Wars?" Like, "No." I'm like, "You okay?" All right. So, yeah, it was a lot of that. So I just didn't really talk about it much, except like when May the 4th came around, and then my teachers had this like Yoda puppet and they wanted to do like Yoda facts like once a week, but they didn't know anything about Yoda. So they had me come in and do the facts. And that was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
And middle school, no one really cared. Everyone just, whenever I mentioned Star Wars, they were like, Star Trek is better. I asked if they watched Star Trek. No.
I had one middle school teacher who was a huge Star Trek fan. He always gave me crap about it.
Yeah, that rivalry always throws me off.
We were at a Saber Guild show. We were going to perform, and over the speaker they were like, "And now the Star Trek people."
Ooh. Jeez.
So we started yelling at the guy.
Good.
And said Star Wars. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like all those people try to make that stupid joke like when it's Star Wars, like, oh, Star Trek. It's like, oh, come on, like that's.
I feel like the rivalry is pretty manufactured, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because like I said, my teacher gave me crap, but it was like very obviously a joke. Like there isn't really a rivalry. It's just kind of like, oh, you like Star Trek? I like Star Wars. Cool. High five. Or generally, it even overlaps too. I know lots of people who like both, and it's fine.
Yeah, like I've watched the newer ones that have come out in theaters, and I mean, like, they're not personally for me. I'm not like totally into them, but I still watch them, and I'm like, oh, they're all right. But it's it's really bizarre to me when I see that kind of mindset. Like I was just in a store the other day, I had my Solo cap on, and somebody was like, "So, how do you feel about the Star Trek and Star Wars stuff?" I'm like, I don't care. Like, people like what they like. It doesn't really matter to me. And he's like, okay, well, that's good. I'm like, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's pretty weird.
Actually, the biggest rivalry I had was Star Wars and Harry Potter in 7th grade.
Oh, yes.
And the argument went on for weeks.
Yeah,
And I wound up completely out of spite writing 8 pages on why Star Wars is better.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, when I was in I think it was like the end of middle school, there was always like this one kid in band practice that I wanted to like punch in the face because he was a big Harry Potter fan, which is great, and I like Harry Potter, it's cool, but obviously I was like reading this Clone Wars book, and the dude's like, "Yeah, that's for babies. Harry Potter is for adults." I'm like,
What?
okay. I was like, what is, like, I think I had like Savage Press on the cover, and he was like, that just looks stupid. I'm like, all right, compared to, like, what are you comparing this to? He's like, oh, to Harry Potter. I'm like, I can really make examples right now, but I choose not to because it's too easy. It's too easy.
Yeah, I like Harry Potter a lot, but it's kind of easy to make fun of Harry Potter sometimes.
Yeah.
Which, like, it's fine because they are, like, the first book was released as a children's book.
Yeah,
It's fine that they're a little corny sometimes because that's what they're supposed to be.
exactly. Yeah.
We're, like, way out of way out of the field. What else? We also have the episode 9 cast was announced the other day. And by the other day, it was probably like last week. I don't know what time is.
Yeah, it was just some random Friday afternoon. They just dropped this huge, like,
Yeah.
exclusive.
So there's lots of people you'd expect to return. You know, John Boyega, Daisy Ridley, Oscar Isaac, Adam Driver. You know, and then Mark Hamill and Billy D. Williams are both going to be in it, which is cool. I'm guessing we're going to see like a Force Ghost Luke.
Yeah,
That would be my guess.
that's probably the best guess. Yeah.
Force Ghost, or maybe even some kind of flashback. I don't know what else they'd have to flashback to. Maybe the Knights of Ren. And no, because he kind of, I don't know. And, you know, Lando's going to be in it, which is exciting because I like Lando. And Carrie Fisher is going to be in it using previously unreleased Force Awakens footage.
Yeah, that's pretty insane.
That's really awesome that they're not CGIing her or recasting. I think it's a good way to end the Skywalker saga. Although I'm wondering if they're gonna, if they're using Force Awakens footage, is she gonna be in her outfit from the Force Awakens, or are they gonna like CGI her a new outfit?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering too, because I really liked her outfits in Last Jedi. In Force Awakens, I was kind of like, yeah, they're not bad, but they also weren't like, if I were to have to compare them to Last Jedi was way better. But I think, yeah, it's just like, my question is, how much footage do they have left over, and how will that fit into the story of Episode 9? Just because, like, I feel like the direction Force Awakens was going in has to be totally different from her cut scenes. So I'm wondering if they're going to do any redubbing with her voice.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
guess is they're gonna probably CG her new hair and outfit just for the movie. That would be just a guess. And then I think more than likely they're gonna have like a body double for her that's gonna walk around, and then CG her face, like using the footage.
Oh, that's a
'Cause
good.
people
Yeah,
do
I
that
never thought about that.
People do that, and then I think because they have technology and millions of dollars, so they can probably just change her mouth.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So that would be my guess, is how to make it the most smooth.
Right.
Just using, you know, footage of her face and putting that on like someone else. Like not CGIing her like the Tarkin or Leia in Rogue One, but putting the footage on someone.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad that Lucasfilm came out and talked about Leia being in it and Luke and Lando, because I think the 1.5 year wait for that would have been brutal with like
Yeah, well,
um
I'm glad they
not
told
knowing.
us this soon what they were doing with Leia, because that's been a burning question now for over a year.
Yeah, yeah, and it's I guess that I don't know if it confirms it or not, but in a way, I guess that means she does survive the events of Last Jedi to Episode 9, so that's pretty cool.
Well, yeah, that was like a fear of mine that they were just gonna, like, instead of handling it like this, they were just gonna, like, kill her off screen or send her somewhere else.
Right.
Because this is, a awful thing to have to deal with.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think, and her family said they were thrilled about it and they think it's good. So this is a good way, I think, to do it.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting, and I'm happy that they got her in it somehow, because it was kind of a depressing thought of having that film without her in some capacity.
And with this, it'll still be able to be Carrie's movie like she wanted.
Yeah,
So I think this is like a kind of, it's a everybody wins scenario after just losing.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And I'm very curious to see what Luke's role is going to be in it, because I kind of like the idea that they're going to do some flashbacks to further explain his relationship with Kylo potentially, or any of that. I still think that line from Last Jedi where he says "See you around, kid." I don't think that was a throwaway line. I honestly think we're going to see some sort of Luke, not haunting, but like making Kylo's life worse.
Yeah.
Mocking.
Yeah.
Or not, maybe not even as necessarily a Force ghost. Maybe Kylo, just with everything he's done and everything, you know, everything's kind of coming back. Like, it's like his mind, he's becoming unstable, more
Yeah,
unstable
exactly.
than he already was. And so maybe it's not even Force ghost Luke. Maybe he's just seeing things.
Yeah, I think especially when he gives that phrase of, see you around, kid, I think that's going to play on him pretty hardcore,
Yeah.
because now he thinks about the fact that he killed his dad, and he pretty much killed Luke, and it's yeah, that's going to weigh on him a lot, I think,
Yeah.
which is going to be really interesting to see, because I think we've all guessed that there's probably going to be some sort of time jump. So it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see if he's lost his mind by the time we see him again.
Yeah, I'm thinking episode 9, because Kylo, he's powerful in the Force, undoubtedly, but he's not a stable and leader, which
Yeah.
is what the First Order needs. Someone like Hux in charge.
Right.
But they're getting Kylo, and I think we're gonna see the First Order is becoming a little bit shaky because
Yeah.
of Kylo's leadership, and especially with, I think Kylo is gonna be a little more crazy.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
General hugs.
I was talking about this with my sister yesterday, and I'm like, I'm glad they didn't do this, obviously, but how funny would it have been if Hux actually shot Kylo on that scene in episode 8? Like, they just killed Kylo like that. I don't
We
know
would
why.
be getting
Like, that would suck, but also it would just be hilarious, because, like, oh, we just killed the main villain, just did that. People complain about Snoke's death.
Yeah, I'm not sure we'd be getting an episode 9 if that happened. Yeah. I still, like, a part of me kind of hopes that Hux is the one who ends up killing him, though. Just because I like the idea of this guy that they treated so awful comes around and is the one who kind of takes over the First Order at the end of the movie.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, because I think, and I could be proved very wrong, but I don't think Kylo's going to make it through 9.
Yeah, I think that's probably gonna happen too.
But I'm thinking, because there's so many people who it would be great to see kill him.
Yeah.
Ray, obviously, would be the first choice. But also,
Yeah.
like you said, Hux. Leia, I don't think Leia would do it, but that would kind of be like a nice... Not nice, it would be very sad, but storytelling-wise, it would be nice.
Oh yeah.
And I think Lando could even do it to avenge Han.
See that, and that's like that's my favorite thing when people say there's a if Lando could do it. I'm like, yeah, that would be
Or even
very
Chewie.
cool. Or even Chewie, yeah. I mean, at this point,
Porgs.
The Porgs will do
Oh.
it.
I'd watch that. That would be awesome.
Or also, I've been thinking, because I think Finn would be a good one too, because Finn is sort of Kylo's like narrative foil. Like there's Rey,
Yeah.
who's his like light side counterpart, but because you have like Finn, who was like captured and brainwashed by the First Order, and he turns out still good. But then you have
Right.
Kylo with the good, loving family that turns out bad. So they're like Finn and Kylo are narrative foils in that way, and I think Finn killing him and sort of overcoming everything the First Order did to him would also be pretty awesome.
Yeah, that would be cool. I think like you're saying, the most likely choice is they will keep him around. I think there's a lot they can still do with him and Ray and Finn and their stories. Like I know this press release says it's the end of the Skywalker saga, but it's just like the big thing about it is it the end for like 5 years? Is it the
Yeah.
end? You know, because they're definitely doing 10, 11, to 12 at some point. There's no way they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think part of me wonders if, maybe, because maybe Kylo will die, and because then you have the lightsaber breaking in Episode 8, symbolizing the Skywalker bloodline dying. But what if in 9 we see Leia kind of like symbolically giving like Rey and Finn and Poe like taking them into the Skywalker family,
Mm-hmm.
so the family continues on in that way, but the bloodline, like with the lightsaber, is broken.
Right.
I don't know. There's a lot that could happen in Episode 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
it's
think
going to be
anyone
cool.
predicted Episode 8. So 9 is gonna be, no one knows. At
Yeah,
least
I
until
hope
the
it,
trailers come out.
Exactly. Yeah. I hope it's going to be the same amount of surprises as Last Jedi had. I hope it's not going to be like predictable or anything, because I think that's what made Last Jedi so awesome, was every single moment was a twist.
Yeah.
And if they can nail that for Episode 9, that'd be awesome.
I think, because this movie is definitely not going to please everybody, because there's such a big job here. Because
Yeah.
I think JJ is going to handle it well, because Force Awakens, you were bringing the original trilogy characters back after 30 years. You were reviving Star Wars movie after more than 10 years. So that was a huge job, and I think JJ pulled it off really great. So I think tying it off will be a good way. I think he can handle it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the fact that he's bringing back Billy D. Williams and all these characters, that's just, I think that's a testament to the quality of the movie, because when you bring all these characters back for the finale of it, that's awesome.
Yeah. What else? We still have the other thing in the cast list, which is that we're getting 3 new actors. So we have, where are they? What are their names? Where'd they go? Okay. Naomi Ackie, who's an actress. And then Richard E. Grant and Carrie Russell, which we already knew about Carrie Russell. She's the one that everyone thinks is going to be Rey's mom.
So who do you guys think she's going to be?
I hope she's a Knight of Ren.
Hmm.
I think
That'd
that
be
would be
cool.
pretty cool. Some people,
I have no idea.
I've seen people say they think she's gonna be not only Ray's mom, but also Mara Jade in a flashback,
Mm,
which I find unlikely.
Yeah, I think in terms of Mara Jade, that's probably something that they're going to, um, I think, steer clear of for now.
Yeah.
Just because yeah, go ahead.
I think Mara Jade will either not appear at all, or she'll appear, but she'll be very, very changed, maybe even in a different part of the timeline, like Thrawn.
Yeah. So people have been saying that Richard E. Grant's face is very similar to Thrawn.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Now, like every single time a movie's announced, a new actor's announced, I always see that people think someone's Thrawn.
Yeah.
So, but this time around, I'm kind of like, that's not.
Cause I don't know. I feel like because you're bringing such a big player as Thrawn into the live action.
Yeah.
I don't know if they would. If oh my god, that's my dog. I'm
he
sorry.
needs more cheekbone.
Yeah, well, they could just do makeup for that. I'm thinking he definitely looks like he's gonna play some kind of like imperial or first order officer type. That's just his look, you know.
Yeah, he does have that kind of like.
I don't know if they bring Thrawn back. I don't know if they do that in the last movie of a trilogy. I feel like if you're gonna bring Thrawn into live action, you do that.
What if
so you at least had a little more time. Maybe, I don't know. I was talking to someone about this on Saturday, and they think he's gonna be Snoke in a flashback.
Oh.
And well, I can say he's a podcaster. His name's Caden. He does the Rebel Chatter podcast. We were talking about this, not on a podcast, just we were hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
And he thinks that he's gonna be Snoke in a flashback, and we're gonna see that Luke is the one that messed Snoke up. He's all scarred and stuff, and that's why Snoke was afraid to go after Luke himself.
Yeah.
Because he was afraid of Luke.
He's too fancy for that. Steel is too lazy, guys.
Steel is Snoke. He was throwing us off with the Your Snoke Theory sucks stuff. He really is Snoke.
His cat should be Kylo.
His cat looks more like a Hux, though. It's got like the grumpy face.
Now, does Steele's cat have a Twitter?
I don't think so.
Steele's cat should have a Twitter, though.
I feel like I just saw something on Twitter the other day about his cat. Maybe I'm wrong. Honestly, people make so many Twitter accounts for like different things now. I'm losing track of what's what on Twitter.
My dog has a Twitter account.
Oh yeah?
Yep. He has a bunch of inspirational quotes on there.
They're very, very inspiring.
Well, that's awesome.
Yes. Something so. Here.
Yeah. Alright, so that's Richard E. Grant. I think he's definitely going to be some kind of officer type. He just looks like that. He looks British. I don't know if he is British, but you look at his face and you're like, oh yeah, he's probably British.
Yeah.
Looks like a British dude. And there's Naomi Ackie, who the theories I've heard for her so far are Finn's mom, Finn's sister, and Lando's daughter.
I've seen that. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what she's gonna be, actually. I don't have a theory for her. I think any of the ones I just said are, like, plausible. I mean, technically any theory is plausible. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
But I think the three I said are more plausible than like Ray's mom for Carrie Russell. But if she's Lando's daughter, she would be half Twi'lek like Jason Syndulla. Probably. Because at the end of spoilers for Last Shot. It's my dog again.
They want a Twitter account.
Yeah, Freddie wants to.
Yeah, exactly.
Spoilers for Last Shot, but at the end he like kind of settles down ish with this Twi'lek woman. So.
Oh, does he? Okay.
Yeah. So if she's his daughter, I think she'd be like Jason Syndulla, which maybe Jason Syndulla is setting up half Twi'lek, half human people for her character.
Right.
I doubt that, but still.
Yeah, I'm very curious about Jason Syndulla, though, like what they're gonna do with him.
As long as he isn't like evil and he doesn't die, because I just think Hera deserves a break.
That's true. Yeah, I think so too.
I don't know. Honestly, I think 9's gonna be good. I mean, I say that for everything, and I always like everything, but still.
Yeah, I think like there's probably going to be a lot of surprises in there with cameos that we don't know about and all this stuff. And yeah, I think it's going to be a really good conclusion to the sequel trilogy, because so far I've loved Force Awakens and Last Jedi. It's just like I think they're really fun and entertaining movies. Like for me, Force Awakens is my favorite Star Wars movie. So I'm down to see what they how they conclude this.
Yeah. Well, I'm wondering if we're going to see Zay from Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
Because she and Shriv. Maybe Richard E. Grant is Shriv.
Oh, they do need to put Shriv in a movie with Lando. They need to do it.
Because I've always thought that Zay and Shriv, when they go off at the end of the Battlefront 2 second mission to find someone to help the Resistance and Leia sends them off, I've always thought that they're going off to find Lando.
Okay, yeah. That would be sweet.
And so, Lando's in this movie. Oh, now I want Richard E. Grant to be Shriv. Maybe Carrie Russell is Shriv and they're just throwing us all off.
Oh, that would be a twist. Yeah, I'm looking at Richard E. Grant's IMDb to see if he's done anything remotely close to a character like Shriv. Don't think so. But that would be cool. I would love for, like you said, Zay and Shriv to be in it. I do think the ending of Battlefront 2 was setting something up. And I would be surprised if there's no payoff to it.
That would be just kind of a bad ending. It's like, oh, we're gonna go find someone. And that's it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Lizzie, are those the motorcycles?
What?
Are those the motorcycles going by your house?
Always.
Yeah. So. Another person that's returning is Maz is gonna. I mean, Lupita's returning. I assume she's gonna be Maz.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So we'll see Maz again.
That's very exciting.
I want to see. I hope there's gonna be more Maz in this than there was in 7 and definitely 8. Cause I like Maz. She's just a funny little short alien.
Yeah, Maz was awesome. Like that. If I had one criticism over Last Jedi, I was like, well, "What about Maz?" She's like 2 seconds, and then that's it.
Well, she's busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm hoping like what her mission was that we see in Last Jedi was to recruit people for the Resistance, and that's like what she was dealing with. I think that'd be a good way to explain why she wasn't in the movie.
Well, I'd like to see her, like, because if she knows Han, she definitely knows Lando. Because she's Maz, she knows everybody, especially in, like, the not scavenger, what's the word? I don't know. In those circles, the criminal circles.
Yeah.
So she definitely knows Lando, and I think her and Lando having at least one scene together would be hilarious.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. I hope we get a reaction from Lando out of Han's death, and I mean, he must be like finding out Han and Luke are gone. That has to be pretty powerful.
I mean,
just to hear that all at once.
Yeah, if we're getting a time jump, Lando, if Lando's already in the Resistance, like if they explain in the beginning of the movie, like, oh, we found Lando, he's chilling with us now. I don't think we'll necessarily see that, but if they're like, if he joins during the movie, like even just in the beginning, we would see that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know who would tell him.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think he's probably going to already be established with the characters in the movie. Like, I mean, we probably won't see him meeting them.
We definitely see, like, maybe a reference to him feeling bad about, like, maybe Kylo Ren is mentioned. He's like, oh, yeah, he's the guy that killed my friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe because I would like to see scenes with him, Leia, and Chewie. Because they're, like, and 3PO and R2, I guess. Because they're, like, the only ones left.
Right.
Yeah. You know, Han and Luke and Akbar. They're all gone.
Akbar. Yeah.
Plus they, Leia and Lando, they probably knew a lot of the people who died in the New Republic.
Right.
Like, Mothma probably died in the New Republic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good that Leia isn't gone, because I think if Lando had to deal with all three of those guys being gone, that would be... I think for sure he'd be killing Kylo.
Yeah. He'd still have Chewie.
Yeah.
I will say that if Kylo kills Chewie, I might just have to climb inside the screen and throttle him. Just saying.
Yeah.
Or actually, I have a friend who Chewie is her absolute favorite character. Like, if you bring up Chewie, she gets super excited. And I think if Chewie died, I think she'd be eternally depressed.
Oh, I hope Chewie survives this movie.
What if they just go for, like, the Infinity War ending? It's like everyone dies.
Stop.
Sorry, Lizzy.
I know, like, it's funny when you see those comments like, oh, Disney's trying to kill all the new characters. I'm like, yeah, wouldn't it be interesting if in episode 9 you had like Lando, Chewie, R2, 3PO on like the Millennium Falcon, and then like it blows up.
See, and then first they said, oh, Disney is afraid to kill off any characters.
Right.
Rogue One.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like, I would like to see Lando and Chewie flying the Falcon together. Like, maybe Rey is like, alright, I'm gonna go fight Kylo, and do you know how to fly the Falcon? Lando's like, this used to be my ship. I got this.
Yeah. I need to see the Nye and Numb Lando reunion.
Oh, that would be beautiful. I didn't even think of that.
Pancake face.
Yes. Yeah, that'd be great.
I just thought of this randomly. We were talking about Maz, and I forgot to say it. But the weirdest, I have to say this. The weirdest Maz theory I've seen is that she's Ahsoka.
Oh, that she's Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Wow, that would be some weird. I don't even know how that would happen.
It doesn't make any sense. It's my favorite theory because it doesn't make any sense.
I did. Okay.
They're both orange. And they're both female. Obviously, they're the same person.
Obviously, yeah.
Duh.
Wow. I've not heard that one.
Yeah.
That's...
What do you mean they're different species and Maz is really short and really old? You don't know what you're talking about.
Wow.
Why can I imagine now? Now I'm just imagining Ahsoka as she's getting old. She's just getting shorter and shorter.
And she's just losing her montrals and her head's getting like a giant egg.
It's like it's shrinking into her head. That doesn't seem right.
Oh my gosh.
Maz's eyes are even brown too, right? So her eye color would have to change.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I was having an amazing conversation with my dad in the car today because we were picking up comics and Afra came out and they're on the cover. It's Borgullet, like that catches her.
That's my one criticism, Rogue One. I could have lived without that scene. It was freaky.
That was so good. Oops. It's 5 o'clock. Sorry. What was I saying? Oh, because I was saying how they never really explained why Saw Gerrera's eyes just changed.
Mm-hmm.
So, my dad was like, yeah, they didn't. I was like, what if I just kept making up random things that could have happened that are really ridiculous and could never have happened. But I kept going because I like to do that to my dad. And there was one that was like he had to pull out his eyes because they were recognizing him by his beautiful eyes, so he had to get rid of them and change them. Then another one was Borg Gullet actually changes your eye color. So if Bodhi would have survived Rogue One, we would have seen his eyes change color.
I like that. That is the perfect way to explain it. That's his power. I mean, because they do say that, like, when he tortures you, he changes you or whatever they say, or makes you go crazy. So yeah, that would fit.
Duh. Yeah.
You might have been onto something with he had to get his eyes, like, get new, like, robot eyes, though. Because maybe he was paranoid that they were going to scan his eyes and know him. So he got robot ones.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say that one, too, but it's lame.
So, we still have to get to the big thing that Lizzie made us hold for the end. So, move on. So this one's quick. There's new Black Series figures, which there's a bunch announced, but I don't care about them. The only ones I care about are Ezra and Chopper, which means now you can put the whole Ghost crew together, except for Zeb. Actually, I still don't have a Kanan.
Oh, I think he just cut out there. What was that?
Oh. There's new Black Series figures. So you have Ezra and Chopper that are coming out, which means now you'll be able to get the whole Ghost crew together except for Zeb. So basically you can get the Rogue Rebels together.
Yeah. That's cool. There is a Zeb on the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They said at the panel.
Awesome.
Lions was like, really?
I love Zeb.
Yeah, Zeb's pretty cool. He was, like, in the first couple seasons, my favorite Rebels character.
He's so cool.
Just because, yeah, he's cool. I like him.
Yeah, I'm a little scared what that's gonna look like though, because Zeb. I think we've talked about this on our podcast before. Zeb is not a character I feel that translates very well into real life.
Yeah.
Like he looks, cause like on the show, he's like a big fluffy kitty cat, but like in real life, you would see why everyone is always scared of him.
Well, that's why everyone's so scared of him in the show. Like, to us, he's like, yeah, of course, a big fluffy kitty cat. And then you're confused on why everyone's so scared of him. But if he were in real life,
well, because when you look at like the original Chewie concept art that he was based on, it's like nightmare fuel.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the only cosplay for Zeb I've ever seen was that I'm sure you guys have seen it. I think it was like Celebration Anaheim. They had
The
like
masks.
the mask, yeah.
That looked
Yeah.
like the animation. They were at Orlando too. I saw them.
Okay, yeah, like those are cool, but they freak me out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Zeb
why we can't get anyone to do a Zeb for our Rogue Rebels. I'm really
Zeb
sad.
is a costume that I think was Filoni's revenge because he did a Plo Koon when he was in the Rebel Legion. He was like, "You want to do a main character? Well, now you have to suffer like I did."
Mm-hmm.
You guys gotta try to get Zeb in the Rogue Rebel somehow. One day.
Dress up
Just
the
one.
dog.
There you go.
Yeah, we'll just paint the dogs.
Yeah, just feed the dogs.
It's safe.
You make Bingo Zeb, and you make Echo Jason. You can paint the tips of his ears
Or-
green and everything.
Or we could put Echo on top of Bingo and then make them Zeb.
Oh, okay. That's even better.
Is Echo the name of your dog?
Yes.
Was
He
that
looks
from
Yeah, he looks exactly like Bingo, my older dog.
Uh-huh.
So we were thinking of clone names,
Yeah.
and we were going to name him Wolf or Boba.
Yeah.
But then we went with Echo.
Echo's cute, but he's also a jerk.
Yes, he tried biting Zoe's
He
face
did
off.
bite my face.
He did.
Wow.
I feel like you didn't give him time to get used to you. You
No,
just picked him up.
I was just in your house for like a day.
Well, yeah, but usually when people come over, like they just leave him alone, and he'll just like slowly come over. But you like went after him.
Well, I tried to pet him and he tried to bite my fingers off. And then Axel handed him to me. So I was like, "Oh, sure, I'll hold him."
Nope, that's him.
It's
he knows
funny
we're
that-
talking about him.
It's funny that you say his name's Echo because we just got a puppy like 2 weeks ago. And originally, like, I started calling him Fives. So that's pretty
You need a
funny.
meet.
Yeah, exactly.
Although
funny.
maybe not. Echo, like, Echo has been inside the house too much. Like, he doesn't go outside. Really, we have like a small backyard that he goes around.
Mhm.
But I tried to take him out walking when I finally got him a collar.
Yeah.
And he's terrified of going outside. And he wouldn't move. So I had to pick him up and drop him into the grass. And then he just stood there, just shaking. It was bad.
Aww. So not an outdoors guy.
No, just like me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like I wish our dog was like that because he always wants to go outside. So, yeah. Then again, he's a puppy, so maybe he'll start adjusting.
Yeah. But for Bingo, like, Bingo was always outside because my dad would not allow him to come inside.
Mm-hmm.
So we would sneak him in sometimes. So Bingo is grateful for everything he can get.
Yeah, so he's an outside dog.
Yes.
All right.
But they're inside most of the time now.
Gotcha. That's cool.
We weren't.
Yeah.
My dad. Okay, Star Wars related. My dad really was gonna try to take pictures of them because they're all white and they're super fluffy. Not super fluffy, but fluffy. And he wanted to try to get good shots of them so that way he can Photoshop us with them, but them giant so they look like loft wolves.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yes. But we haven't done that yet. Going to.
Just bring them out with you guys when you do your next Rogue Rebels thing and just call them your wolves.
Yep. They look kind of dumb, though. They make dumb faces. I send Zoe pictures of them all the time, and they just have
I'd say
dumb
like
faces.
a quarter of me and Lizzie's text conversations are just sending pictures of our dogs back and forth.
Nice.
Yeah.
Alright. How did we get here?
I don't know. I have to go soon, so
So I'll say this, and then we'll get to the big news that you made us wait
yes.
for. So the other new thing I have with Black Series that are the ones I care about are they said there would be Clone Wars figures, but they didn't say which ones. They just said there would be some, but that's cool.
Yeah, I talked to them at the very end of the con, and they told me that they would be releasing Clone Wars figures again, but they would be realistic, which is cool. I mean, the action figure line they had back in 2008 to 2013 was really, really good.
I have an original Ahsoka, like the first one they released, on my desk.
Nice. That's a good one. That's
Yeah.
a good one. That's like worth a ton of money now.
Is it?
Yeah.
She's just chilling here.
That's cool. But yeah, that's coming.
So, yeah, that's cool. I hope the dream is they'll just release every single Ahsoka outfit. And I don't mean like every main one, I mean every single one, including a snow and the spacesuit and like the Zygerian one, like all of them.
Yes.
That would be
Exactly.
the dream. It's unlikely, but that's the dream.
Exactly. I asked them that question in 2016. I'm like, why aren't you guys releasing all of Ahsoka's outfits? Because there's so many you guys could do. And they were like, they kind of looked at me like, oh, okay. Yeah, so hopefully they do. That'd be great.
Yeah, the dream is just every Ahsoka ever.
See, my confidence is now in Funko because I feel like they'll do it.
Oh, Funko makes everything. There's like,
Yeah.
I didn't even realize how many times the Frozen characters change clothes, but apparently it's enough to make 1 million Funko Pops of them.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Or even Rey. I have, just from everything, like the Force Awakens and Last Jedi, I think there's like 10 Rey pop figures.
Yeah, there's a ton of Reys. I think they've literally done every single outfit.
I have like, what do I have? I have like the Rey with her staff, and then I have Rey again with her staff, but with the head wraps on. I have Rey with the lightsaber in the snow. I have Rey with the Rebel helmet holding the doll. I have Rey from the end of the movie, or the end of Force Awakens, holding out the lightsaber, and I have Last Jedi Rey. That's 6
They made
Reys.
a lot of gins too.
Yeah, I think I have a bunch of gins.
Not as much, but
Not as much, because she used only one movie, then she kicked the bucket.
Oh. Yeah, they've definitely made a lot of them, which is cool. I think, like, it cracks me up when there's some people out there, like Funko collectors can be weird too. Like there are people who complain there are too many Reys and all this stuff, and I'm like, then don't buy it. Like, just don't buy it then.
With Funkos, we tend to only get the characters we like. The problem is there's lots of characters we like, but also sometimes we'll be like, oh well, this is on sale and it's only $2.
Yeah, that's the best.
Gonna grab it. Or also the Smuggler's Bounty, because for a couple boxes of the Smuggler's Bounty, we were getting 2 boxes because the first order one they sent us, there was 2 of the Special Forces TIE pilots, but no Chrome Phasma. We don't care about the TIE pilots. We just wanted Phasma, so we asked for another one, and they sent us 2.
Ooh,
and
did
gave
you end
us
up getting it?
So we got 2 Chrome Phasmas.
Awesome.
And then the next 2 boxes, I think they sent us, the 1 or 2 boxes, they sent us 2 of them for no reason. I guess for an apology for not sending us a Phasma.
Whoa, so you guys got a ton.
So we have a couple of the Funko Pops from those boxes that we have, like 3 of them.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'm just looking around the office I'm recording this in. There's Funko Pops everywhere. So many.
Yeah, they're making some good ones coming up.
Yeah, the Clone Wars ones, the Ahsoka ones look awesome.
Like as we were recording this, I got a message from someone that the Clone Wars pops are all in stock on GameStop.com, so I have ordered them as we've been talking.
Nice. Yeah, there's a lot. I really wish they'd make more Rebels ones. I want all the Sabines. Season 1, helmet and no helmet.
Yeah.
Season 3, helmet and no helmet. Season 4, helmet, no helmet. And the epilogue, helmet and no helmet. Then we got...
The demand is there. They should do it.
Yeah. Well, the thing I've noticed about Rebels and Clone Wars people, especially Rebels people, is that we go nuts when there's any kind of merch. For, like, anything. And even not even merch. Any kind of acknowledgement of the animation. And everyone's just like, oh my gosh. Like, Chopper was in the background of Rogue One for... I'd say a second and a half, and everyone's still going crazy over it.
Yeah, that's how I am too, especially with like Clone Wars. Anytime it's mentioned or there's a product available, I'll buy it because like you said, it's very there's not a lot of it out there now. So now that things are happening, we'll be seeing a lot more of it. But in terms of Rebels, I remember Funko said that they were going to tackle like other Rebels pops, but they just never did it. It would be great if they would.
Because, like, there's there's a lot of Rebels and Clone Wars stuff, like, on Etsy. And people are making a lot of money off of them, and I just wish Lucasfilm would be like, oh, maybe people do like this stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. All right. Lizzie, can we talk about the big news?
Yes, because I need to go make bacon wrapped hot dogs for my family.
Bacon wrapped hot dogs.
Oh, that sounds good.
All right. So, the big news, obviously, if you haven't heard it by now, I don't know what you're doing. Honestly. But Clone Wars is coming back for 12 episodes that will be on the Disney streaming service that comes out in the fall of 2019. So, that's going to be really awesome.
Yeah, that was... So, I went to the Clone Wars panel, and Steele, the night before, had told me that he talked to Lucasfilm, and that Lucasfilm said that there was no announcement to be made. So I was really bummed. I was like, that sucks. Like, I was still excited for the panel just for the anniversary.
I heard that podcast. Yep.
Yeah.
I heard
on that podcast. You must have felt so vindicated, though, because they were making fun of you, and you're like, there's not going to be something. But you had hope, and it paid off.
Oh, I feel like I'll remind them every chance I get. Like, I'm pretty sure they're at the point where they want to just kick me out of the podcast because I say it so much. But yes,
Then you just comment on all their podcasts, and they'll have to read it on their podcast.
Exactly. Like, there's been so many tweets that came in that day that was like, oh, Corey was right. I'm like, exactly.
Well, because when they were doing that panel, I was refreshing Jonah's Twitter feed, Jonah Marie Macias from Wookiee Gunner, because she was live tweeting like everything, so I was refreshing her Twitter a lot, and then I refreshed it, and it was like, she just posted a picture of a thing as a Clone Wars saved, and I was like, what, and I kept refreshing, and nothing was happening. I was like, Jonah, come on. You gotta tell me what's happening.
Yeah, it was such a crazy experience because the minute they said that they had something that they were going to show, at first I was like, okay, we're going to get like a commemorative poster for 10 years or maybe a commemorative trailer. But like the minute the Lucasfilm logo came on and, you got the dialogue with the clones, I was like, yeah, this is something huge. And it was like the minute the trailer ended, I turned around to Steele and Jason and looked at them for about 20 seconds. They would not acknowledge that I was doing that, though I know they saw me, and it was great.
That's amazing.
I was in Texas with that. I was just in my room, and my dad said they had some news about Clone Wars, and I was like, oh, I wonder what that is.
Yeah.
I went into the room, And my dad's like, it's back. I'm like, what's back? Clone Wars. And then he put on the trailer.
That's the most dramatic way to do that. I love that.
I sat there and I cried.
Oh my gosh, the
entire time, and I was like, oh no, if I cried, Zoe's gonna cry even harder. Oh my god,
I sobbed for at least an hour and 45 minutes. I was screaming and jumping and crying. My mom was like, my mom was a little mad at me because she was like, I bought you a car, and you were like, I can't drive, but then Clone Wars comes back and you're crying.
Yeah, I was trying my best when the announcement came not to, but it didn't work. It's like Steele was trying to interview me after. He's like, so what'd you think of that? I'm like, dude, I cannot talk right now. Like, I need some time to digest it.
I was surprised when I was hearing you on the podcast because you just sounded so not excited at that point. I was like, he's right. What happened? And I'm like, is he just in shock?
I was in shock. Like straight up, I was telling Steele, like, this was like, I don't know, like, I was making fun of it on the podcast, but I didn't know what was going on because I couldn't really, like, move my facial muscles because I was in shock. I was literally in shock when it was happening. So, like, Randy and everybody was turning to me, and they were like, I think they were all visibly confused that I wasn't, like, jumping up and down, but, like, I was tearing up. I didn't know, like, I'd never done that before at, like, a panel or anything. And then I knew that Steele was going to try to record my reaction after. So it was like, yeah, no, it was just pure shock, and knowing that the show was coming back, like, it just didn't make sense in my head. I'm like, what? So yeah, that's what that was.
Yeah, well, because to me, and I know Lizzy relates to this too, but, like, that's, like, the first Star Wars I remember seeing for the first time. Like, I'm too young to remember the first time I saw the originals or even the prequels. So going to see the Clone Wars movie in theaters, that was the first time I remember enjoying something new in Star Wars and not knowing what was happening.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah, like, my dad had shown me the first 6 movies, like, a year prior to the Clone Wars movie, but I was more like, I was into Star Wars at that point. But it wasn't until I saw the Clone Wars movie and kind of, like, the same thing as, like, you were going along with that journey. You know, like, it wasn't something that had been out for 30 years or 5 years or whatever. It was something that was new and fresh and you could follow along with as it was happening. So, yeah, that movie, like, I still love that movie. I know a lot of people don't, but it's such a nostalgic, I guess, thing for me now.
Yeah.
And, like, first off, when they showed that trailer at the beginning of the panel, that was the Clone Wars movie trailer that they only showed at, like, Celebration Los Angeles or whatever, that was even cool seeing that because I'd never seen that before. That was awesome.
Yeah, like, to me, like, with Clone Wars, it created Ahsoka, obviously, who's still by far my favorite character. I love Sabine a lot, but Ahsoka, it will always be my favorite. Because to me, like, because the only 2 female characters we had at that point, that besides the extended universe, which I don't know anything about, I was 7, were Leia and Padme. And, like, they were, like, I related to them, I guess, but in a way that, like, they were all I had. And then Ahsoka was, like, the first, like, young character who was still learning, where Leia and Padme always felt like they knew what to do, and they were more role models, where Ahsoka's a role model, but she's also, like, someone you can relate to more, I think.
Exactly. Yeah, no, she was the first, like, as she was going through her journey, I felt like I was going through similar things in life as she was going through hers, so it was cool having that character growth side by side. And Clone Wars is my favorite thing about Star Wars, just because that's what I grew up with, and that's what the fact that it's coming back. It's weird because it's like as soon as you see that trailer, it's like it left off exactly how it was, and that's what's so shocking about it to me, is I didn't think they'd be using the same animation either, and there it is.
Lizzy, you talk.
I don't know what to think right now. This is why I want it to be last.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
Oh no, sorry. surprised. We won't be hearing from Zoe, for the rest of the podcast.
Oh man, you've just beat me in terms of excitement, I think.
I don't know about that. I cry at everything.
Yeah, my dad messed with her so much when she was over here.
Your father's a jerk.
My dad played Star Wars Rebels music, and
No, I'm fine with normal Star Wars Rebels music. It's specific Star Wars Rebels music that he was playing.
Yeah. That was the end of season 2? No.
End of season 2, and certain episodes in season 4 that I don't talk about. Music
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And from the end of season 4.
Ahsoka going into the temple. Vader crawling out. He played that music. And she cried in the car. Really, really bad.
Yeah, that music, it's emotional music, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's played it so much, like, now when he tries to mess with me about that, I can't cry anymore.
Yeah, you've learned the tricks now.
He still tries.
That's like Lucasfilm was trying to do that, or at the panel before the trailer played, they played when Ahsoka walks away in the Jedi Temple in season 5 finale, and like they were like, there's so many people crying in the audience. I'm like, see, they're prepping for something, like they're making people emotional. And yeah, that got a lot of people. Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum.
I know I cried in the I'm bad at episode titles. What's the name of the episode with Rex and the battle droids of Rebels?
Oh. Was it like the Clone Wars style, like kind of like the last battle or something?
The last battle, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Because I cried not as much at the episode itself, but at the ending card where they played the Clone Wars music.
Yeah. Yep.
And actually the first episode of season 2, when they would play music from the Clone Wars and they had the Rex and Ahsoka. Oh my god. Sorry.
Let it out.
No, don't say that, because then...
Yeah, don't say that, actually. Okay. Yeah. Because, like, I know...
I made
like
a tissue box once.
Yeah, I have it. It's right here.
It
I need to put more tissues in it, but I have it. I've finished off... Yeah, you put a lot of tissues in there. I finished them off with the Rebels finale.
I feel like when you cried when I sent you that?
Yeah. It's very easy to make me cry. You know this. Although, actually, Lizzie, I was thinking yesterday, I think you're the first person to cry on the podcast.
Wait, what?
Like a year or two ago, I think you were the first one that cried on the podcast, because I forget what I said, but I think it said something about 3PO and R2, and it made you cry.
3PO and R2.
Yeah, it was from...
I don't know. Maybe.
I think that was the first time one of us cried. Someone fact check.
Nah. It's okay. Zoe keeps trying to make me cry, though.
I'll get it.
Like,
I'll get you
over and
one
over.
day. Maybe I'll just fake my death. That might work.
Well,
If they
maybe I'll be really, really sad that I just won't cry.
Okay.
But what if they announce, like, during the 10th anniversary of Rebels that it's coming back? Will that do it?
Like,
That did happen, but Zoe didn't do that.
I hope, because I think a cool 10th anniversary Rebels thing would be we're going to find out what happened to Ezra. You know, like, we'll see Ahsoka and Sabine's journey to get him, but I also don't want to wait 6 years.
Yeah, that's I agree. I think, like, that was like I really liked the Rebels finale, but that's the thing that bummed me out about it the most was, oh, that means we gotta wait like 5 years till we see what happens. So we'll see.
I don't even know the words to use for Clone Wars. I have lots of emotions, just not lots of words to convey them.
Yeah, the biggest one for me is just like amazement over it, just because like I mean, I talked to Ashley Eckstein on that Sunday, and she asked me, she was like, "Did you ever think it would come back?" And I told her, I'm like, "No, I genuinely didn't think it would, because it just every time it was brought up or at celebrations, it always felt like a definitive no, like it was never going to happen." So the fact that it did, I think that's the best Star Wars announcement we've ever gotten, because it was so unexpected.
Yeah. I don't even know. Although I will say it will be a little weird to not see Cartoon Network logos and stuff with it.
That's true. Yeah.
I'll say that much. I mean, that's fine. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it'll be different.
Yeah, there won't be like a new episode logo at the bottom that they used to have.
Hmm. Kind of excited for the Bad Batch.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
kind of hope they'll do the Dark Disciple episodes just for your dad's sake. You know, so you can get that Gala Voss finally.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I think that's very important for
At
your
least
dad to finally see.
At least release the pictures of what his outfit is. They released
Yeah.
Ventress.
Yeah. But not Voss. Maybe he was just way too beautiful.
It's just, yeah, he looked too good. They just couldn't do it.
Yeah. I gotta go make food for
okay.
family.
All right.
Yeah, so that was our show. Lots of Clone Wars and prequel related news, and a little bit of episode 9 and stuff.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'll let you go make, what was it, bacon wrapped hot dogs?
Bacon wrapped hot dogs.
Yeah.
Nice.
With tomatoes, onions, and jalapeno.
That sounds good.
Sounds good if
Because it's
you
quick
made
and
it.
easy and I'm lazy.
Sounds good if you made it a vegan version, Lizzy.
I made last night, I made carrot cake. The only thing I would have to substitute would probably be the cream cheese and eggs.
Well, you can substitute applesauce for eggs. Or tapioca flour. And cream. They make vegan cream cheese, probably. So, there you go.
Yeah, they must have that somewhere.
They make vegan versions of everything.
Leave me alone, Zoe.
They make vegan versions of everything. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not.
When Zoe came over, like, it was mostly vegan food for me. The only other thing that I ate was I put a lot of meat in the pizza, but there was vegan cheese. And then I had, like, ramen, and that's it. Everything else was vegan.
Nice.
That week Zoe was there. Slight week, half week.
So you went almost vegan for the week I was there.
Yes. And then I shoved a whole pizza in my mouth in one bite.
Whoa, really?
No.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I'm. In case you guys didn't know, I'm pretty gullible with stuff, so it's kind of like. Yeah.
So.
I did, though.
Did you?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. You and Axel had that pizza slice eating. you had to see who could get it in the least amount of bites, and you both wound up tying, right?
No,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you
I did
tied.
it in one bite.
It was like a bite and like a bunch of like not quite bites. I remember your dad just turned. He was like, he looked at both of you and then just turned to me. He was like, yesterday I was a proud father. Now I'm just a father. While you were both
man.
shoving your faces with pizza.
I cut the inside of my mouth doing that. Never again. Maybe.
Maybe. Alright, well, we'll let you go make food.
Yeah.
So-
I'll show
Yeah,
the
thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah, it was
Promise.
fun. I'll always talk about Clone Wars with anyone that'll listen.
Yeah, I'll have to try to get you guys on First Order Transmissions at some point if you're interested.
That would be
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
We'll make it happen.
Okay, so, thank you for listening to Star Wars Geek Girl. May the Force be with you. I was Zoe.
I was Lizzie. Corey.
May the Force be with you.
Yeah, may the Force be with you, and goodbye.